Thanks for checking out my video. If you want to learn more from me, I have a lot of classes on Udemy. You can find the links to a lot of those in the description. Alright, so in this video I want to talk about prayer. Now, as lots of viewers know, and if you're new, well, welcome to the club, but prayer isn't just something that's for mainstream religion. And I think it's kind of important for us as magical practitioners, especially those that believe in the spirit model, but you can also apply this to the energetic model and the psychological model, because in terms of the spiritual model, we're working with and talking to, because pray means to ask, right? We're asking divinity, whatever form you work with, to help us out. And then in the energetic model, energy is conscious. Where intention goes, energy flows. We are asking for that energy to flow in a certain way. And psychologically, we could be talking to our subconscious. So it works regardless of the model that you play around with. Even the chaotic model, anything goes. And yeah, so got a couple of notes here. I'm gonna go over it. If you see cat hair on my shirt, this is the second video I've recorded it, and Pixie only tends to stay for one video. She might be back, but maybe she'll make a cameo again. I have no idea. I had Starry down here in the basement about an hour ago. She'll never be in front of a camera. She's too shy and scared of everything. But yeah. So many see prayer as religious and magic as a cult, and we see those two things on like opposing ends, when really they're two sides of the same coin and they blend. So you could think of it as a hypercube, I get, or a tesseract, right? And yet both are forms of communion with the unseen. Doesn't matter what that unseen is to you. It all applies. Prayer is the language of the heart. Magic is the art of shaping energy. Together, they become a dialogue and a dance. When we are invoking something, like working with any of the 50 names of Marduk or any other spirits, when we are talking to them and we are setting our intention, and we're saying, hey, help me out with this, that's technically prayer. So, congratulations. You've probably been doing it this whole time. You just didn't like to put it in that box. Well, the box is open, the box is right in front of you. Have at it. So, prayer centers intention in humility and gratitude. We are understanding that we are going to a force that is higher than us, or, farther away from us, that we are reaching towards in order to get something done, in order to manifest something. Magic, in a traditional sense, not only is it, create a transformation or creation of reality in accordance with willpower, but it's also something that is arguably done when you've exhausted all of the other up, work, home, TV, bed, mundane world actions. Of course, you can pair it with mundane action, and you know, in one of the basically one of the things that I've learned is never undertake an endeavor without invoking some higher power, because we are not alone, whether we want to be talking about working with our subconscious that really fuels everything, or a connection with some divine force that speaks through us and works through us. We are not only physical, we are spiritual. So we're tapping into not just the mental, I'm talking to myself in my meat suit and all of my electrical stuff that's going on in my brain, but I'm also communicating with my spirit, with what it desires and what I desire for it, and arguably even something higher than me, right? So it's all this interplay here. So prayer is the language of the heart, magic is the art of shaping the energy. Together they become a dialogue and a dance. So prayer centers the intention on humility and gratitude. People that go for something that are selfish and whatnot, you see people that force things, and maybe you work at a job where you see a Karen that tries to force their will on something, and they don't have a lot of gratitude, do they? You're trying to open something, you're trying to open a glass jar, you try to force it, and you're gripping at it, you might break that jar, and then you got cuts all over your hand, right? We're trying to flow with things, we're not trying to force things. And prayer clears out ego-driven clutter and aligns the practitioner with source, spirit, your subconscious, the divine current, a particular deity, what have you. You're saying, I can't do this on my own. I need some help. And it's the humility is the biggest thing there. You got to learn to partner with this energy that you're working with rather than forcing it. It's a heck of a lot better to go about life with, a friend, a romantic partner, a coworker, whatever, where you're both on the same page and you both want to get the stuff done rather than being dragged through the mud in order to do something somebody else wants to do. Right? You ever been dragged through the mud just doing something because you're told to do it? Doesn't feel as good as when you're like in it and you want to do it. You know what I mean? Magic performed in this state is more precise, ethical, which I'm huge on about this stuff, which is why I don't like black magic, even though magic doesn't have a color, and curses and coercion and stuff. Any of my magic for hire, when I get people, like I had a guy the other day where he wanted a love spell for someone, and I was like, well, what's your interactions with this person? I asked them out, and they said no. Well, doors closed. I'm not gonna try to coercion stuff on that kind of person because they already slammed the door. Drawbridge is up, can't enter the castle. Know what I mean? So the energetic function of prayer is our next point. Prayer raises the vibration and shifts consciousness from the upward home TV bed to reaching for something outside of yourself. And it opens a channel between the human and the divine. There is the veil between us and the divine, and the way that we cross that is through intention and prayer. And they want to interact with us. They want to help us out. They want a relationship with us. There are bad things that want a relationship with us because they want to take our energy. There are good things that want to have a relationship with us because they are all about manifestation, expansion, and growth and positivity. And it's in their nature to share that with us. We just have to make that connection, right? It changes the subtle body much like a tuning fork, making the magician more resonant with the forces that they're invoking. You try to force something. If you try to force yourself to do something, you're going to have a bad time. I got to do the dishes, right? When my dishwasher was busted for like 6 months or more, if it was at first a freaking chore and I hated doing the dishes in the sink, but then I just started to flow with it and it became part of my normal routine. Much easier, And then prayer is protection. Invoking blessings, guidance, and guardians through prayer creates a spiritual perimeter of safety. When you have this connection with something higher than you, something external, something outside of you, you can go about life feeling much more confident that stuff's going to go your way. And before rituals, prayer can establish a sacred space and call in allies. When I work with the Kara tradition, first you create your sacred space by invoking the 4 different directions, making some offerings, and then you invoke all the different spirits of your mesa. Whether I'm working with the how many spirits do I have in there now? 11, technically 12. 12 spirits in my Nusta mesa. I have 7 in my Chumpy mesa, and then I'm trying to remember the number in my Pachacuti mesa, but I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. But yeah, so doing magic by itself. If you're working with a psychological model, go for it, but invoke something higher than you. It could be an archetype, but the spiritual model and others, you're invoking friends to help you out. If you're moving, don't do it by yourself. Get up order a pizza and whatnot. Have some friends come over. It's going to be much easier, right? Then, prayer is an offering. Just as magic involves exchange and reciprocity, so we're talking about you burn incense, you burn offerings and whatnot, that's reciprocity right there. Prayer is a gift of devotion, energy, and attention. I've been talking on this channel for a while now about how, the goetic spirits, you're forcing a spirit to show up and do something for you. If you kidnap a friend, bring them over to your house, and then force them to help clean your house, that's kind of crappy versus, having the moving analogy, kidnapping a friend to have them help you move versus making a good time of it. They help you move. You get the couch stuck in the hallway. You figure it out. Blah, 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 blah. Everything's moving in your house. It looks wonderful. And then you order a pizza. Sounds like a much better time to me, right? In the Kara tradition, we're talking about Aini, which is sacred reciprocity. First, you got to give, then you receive. It's a back and forth. It's a law. When I burn hierarchies, despachos, you burn an offering. It goes from physical to non-physical, and then spirit has to, like, what's it? For every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. There's a push and a pull, and you give an offering to spirit. Spirit then gives an offering to you, in as far as manifesting the thing that you want. So when we are doing prayer, for example, with, hey, insert deity name here, thank you for being, first supplication, where you honor their qualities and stuff. It's bringing up those energies. It's getting more of a clear vision of who they are in your mind. It's kind of like dialing the phone number to make sure you hit you reach the right you reach the right destination. You call the right person, and then you ask them for help with a particular thing. Prayer doesn't always have to be asking for stuff. You can just ask to have that relationship with them, but that in itself is reciprocity, because friends don't just come over and help you out with stuff. You want to spend time with friends. You want to have a good time with friends. Spirits are friends too, right? So you're building this reciprocity, this back and forth. And any practitioner that says, oh, I have a really good relationship with, insert deity name here, one, do they? Is it balanced? And, do you just ask for stuff? Do you give offerings or whatever? Do you thank them? Stuff like that. They're going to tell you that their spiritual life is much deeper than somebody that, arguably, because I kind of disagree with this one, where you invoke a spirit, you say, do this for me right now because I said so. That's the nature of the 50 names of Marduk, for example, and the Nurgak and the 72 goetic spirits. But imagine building a relationship with that spirit where they become your ally, and then they're constantly helping you, rather than the one and done, you pay, you get the service. Which one sounds better? Which one sounds deeper? I thought so. So, prayer and daily practice. Simple spoken prayers, morning and night, or even before you go to work and stuff like that, keep the magician attuned to spirit. So I want you to, build a practice like that. Build a relationship. Not every working needs tools or elaborate ceremony. Sometimes whisper words are the most powerful spell. You just set that intention and you let it go. You could do this when you park at work before you go into work to have a good work day. For example, I do that every single day. So magic is often fueled by will. Prayer adds devotion, love, and trust. So it's not just, I want this because I said so. I want this because I know I'm going to partner with you to create this particular thing. Much better to have a friend right next to you, rather, isn't it more fun if you have a friend that knows how to fix something? The two, he comes over, he helps you to fix that thing, you guys hang out, versus you pay somebody, they come over and they leave. Which one's more interpersonal? Which one's more fun, right? Combining will and devotion is like combining fire and wind. It amplifies the flame. You're much more likely to do something for someone if you're enjoying the time and you get this interaction back and forth, right? Same thing with spirits. They got feelings too. So, cross-cultural roots. Ancient magicians, shamans, and priests across traditions, all of them, they didn't just, treat it as transactional. They prayed before, during, and after their workings, building that relationship, co-creation with spirits, right? This shows that prayer isn't just religious, but it's a part of humanity's universal magical toolkit. Because back all the way as far as Mesopotamia, you have Enheduanna talking about her relationship with the moon god Nana, right? And she also that was her station, and then she had a super deep relationship with Inanna. You don't think that was just from supplication and just from being able to write her stuff down and know her myths and stuff. Side note, reading the myths and stories around different deities that you work with helps develop that relationship because you're understanding their backstory. You don't just hang out with friends and you never learn anything about them, right? So, here's an invitation for you. So, blend prayer and magic together. Begin a ritual with a prayer of gratitude. Thanks for being here. Thanks for walking with me. Thanks for working with me. If it's your first time, thank you for this opportunity to work with you. Stuff like that. Speak prayers over sigils. Don't just say your intention. Make it big. Make it personal. Write something out. Use an AI generator if you want to help create that kind of prayer. If you're not good at writing that stuff, get an example, tweak it to make it personal, and go with it. So you can speak those prayers over sigils, candles, or charms, or any of the other magic that you do. And then end with a prayer of thanks and just to close the energy up, right? And then last point, the magician who prays not only commands power, but also listens to the living universe, because we're building the relationship with those spirits. And, rather than just do this for me, done, right? You build a relationship with the spirit, they're going to be able to help you by feeding you intuitional thoughts and even speaking to you and even showing different things that highlight what's going on and where they think you should go and giving you confirmations and stuff like that when you build a relationship with them. For example, and if you're still here, thank you. But so I did a big amount of supplications and prayers with the Divine Feminine about 2 days ago, and for me, these videos are all a conversation. It's me going on my journey, me talking about what I'm working through and what I think will help you guys. And so I did a bunch of supplications and stuff with the Divine Feminine because I've been drawn to just working primarily with the Divine Feminine for a good while now, and I'm continuing to go deeper because it's not just, okay, I figured it out, next. It's building a relationship, right? So, side note, so as you may know, the divine is both masculine and feminine, and then Abrahamic religions and stuff merge that into one thing, where it's just the masculine. Well, that's wrong. See, Yahweh had Asherah, which you can delineate that back all the way to Inanna, right? So there's always masculine and feminine. Now, the term in Hebrew is Adonai, which actually has no gender. Then when it was translated to Greek and later to Latin, it became male. So then you have the idea of the Holy Spirit, or Ruach, or Ruha, going from English, you have Holy Spirit, then Latin, Spiritus, which is male, then you have Shekinah, which is feminine, and then you have Ruach, which is feminine, and then you have Ruha, which is feminine, all the way back to Aramaic. And I remember in Scripture where God, the male, says, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. If you look at the A, that's penetrative, it's got a point. Then you have Omega, it's a circle, that's more feminine, right? So I was thinking about, or I thought about that like a month ago, randomly, one night before bed. I was talking to my lady about it. And so the other day, like 2 or 3 days ago, I did a lot of supplications and prayers about Divine Feminine connect with me. I'm having a hard time sensing your presence in my life. Give me a sign, give me something. And I'm at work and I'm cleaning. And I see what I think is like a hazelnut in the corner. In the corner. And I'm like, garbage. How did this get here? I can't sweep it up. Broom ain't working on it. So I go down and I grab it. And there's a frickin' Omega on the rock. It's a brown rock. And it's got the black, in black. I don't know if it's Sharpie or if it's natural, whatever, it doesn't matter. Omega symbol on it. And that's the goddess giving me a sign. Right there. So her presence is around me. And these are the results of when you're building a relationship with a particular spirit, because then they will send you signs and other things like that. And that's the biggest confirmation I ever got in the last 20 years. So brought it home, showed my lady. I was like, whoa, check this out. And both our jaws are on the floor. And so that went in my Nusta Mesa, because the Nusta Mesa is all about the Divine Feminine. If I can find a good picture of it, I will probably post it in this video. Let me see if I can dig for that, and then I will post it right here. Yeah. So, anyways, food for thought. Prayer can help build the relationship between you and the divine, and it can enhance your magic quite a bit. Anyways, if you liked any of this stuff and you have any comments, definitely leave them down there. Let me know your experience or your previous notions about prayer were, and if I change them for you. You can always suggest other videos down in the comments. Check the link tree for all my good stuff, including the Patreon, the Magic for Hire, all of my books, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Good hunting.